Judgment Day. We found this beautiful location because we're talking about a bunch of beautiful-looking games this week.
Today on Judgment Day, we take a look at Unreal 2 The Awakening for the PC, Pride FC for the PlayStation 2, Tao Feng for the Xbox, and Tommy looks at International Track and Field for Buried Treasure.
First game we're going to talk about is Unreal 2 The Awakening for the PC from Infogram. What'd you think of this one?
The first thing that you notice in this game is the phenomenal, mind-blowing visuals. I mean, the first time you walk outside and see this amazing, lush environment, I mean, every blade of grass, every bush, you really, like, you know, gasp in amazement. It's that good.
The Unreal Engine is very powerful. This game utilizes it to the max. There's incredible lighting. I love the dust. I love the cloud particles and the flame effects. The fire effects are incredible.
Yeah, it's the best fire effect I think I've seen in a long time.
It really looks like they ripped it right out of a movie.
It's not just your typical first-person shooter like a Quake where you're just going through everything and blowing everything away. This actually has cool missions to go on.
Remember now, search and rescue. No rough stuff.
Yes, Mother.
Look, I'm not kidding. I don't want to have to come down there and save your sword.
Relax, I'm sure the natives are friendly.
Sometimes you have to protect people. There's this one part where you have to grab locals and have them be fighters. It's not just shoot everything, which I thought was great.
The entire experience is really cinematic, and they've actually bracketed all of the missions that you go on by these really cool cutscenes, and there's lots of amazing space vistas. You really get the sense that Legend and Epic and all the guys behind Unreal, they're pushing this series towards making a feature film.
Atlantis calling Peacekeeper. I'm sending you back, John.
What's up, Ida?
Well, if that's their intention, they need to seriously consider getting some people in there who can write a script.
And who can act.
And who can act in dialogue, because that is the biggest downfall to me in this game.
And normally that wouldn't be such a big deal, right? But because this is a
so much of it.
Yeah, this is a story-driven, single-player adventure. There's no multiplayer in Unreal 2, so you've got to be engaged the entire time. Most of the gameplay experience is really shooting through cool-looking corridors and blasting at alien bad guys that are popping up. So if you're going to just do that, you also have to come to the table with an amazing, engrossing story.
You couldn't even click through the cinematics.
That too,
You couldn't even escape through them. So you had to sit there and be tortured by bad VO. And when that happens, you just become disinterested.
What happened? Alarms went off. They told me to barricade the door. And then there was an explosion. I crawled here to get fixed up, but I must have passed out. Can you walk? Yeah.
There's 15 different weapons in Unreal 2 as well, and they're really nice. I mean, there's some really cool things. I love the flamethrower, the shotgun. I love the grenade launcher.
They all have alternate fires as well.
Of course, Unreal started that, and they really are perfecting it in Unreal 2. The audio effects are very, very solid. All the guns sound really cool. I love the ricochet and the bullets flying off, the little shells, casings and stuff hitting the ground. The explosions sound amazing.
The game is actually short as well. It's only, you know, it takes about 10 hours to get through the whole thing.
And because it's a single-player thing, you know, there's a question about how many times you're actually going to play through this thing. The sort of genre is becoming so cluttered, and there's so many players out there now with Red Faction 2 and Unreal and Star Trek Elite Force, and there's a bunch of really great sort of sci-fi themed first-person shooter games out there. This didn't feel that distinctive to me. 7.5.
I'm giving it an 8. On the positive side, this game is absolutely visually stunning. The single-player game is extremely well done, and it's very diversified as well. The sound effects, music, and environmental audio really draw you in.
On the negative side, this game's going to require a very powerful PC to run properly. It's a single-player game, and it won't last that long, so there's really not a lot of replay value. And to be honest, there's better sci-fi first-person shooter games already out on the market. Okay, the next game we're going to talk about also takes place in some pretty cool environments. This one's called Ghost Recon. It's from Ubisoft for the GameCube. What'd you think of this one?
On the cover it says, Game of the Year, and you're like, oh wow, this must be great.
Well, they're not lying.
They're not lying, but 2 yeyears ago it was Game of the Year. That would kind of be like the new Pac-Man game saying, Pac-Man!
Game of the Year.
Game of the Year, yeah, in 1980.
This handful of Green Berets represents the very tip of the spear, the first line of defense. Equipped with the latest battlefield technology and trained in the latest techniques of covert warfare, they strike swiftly, silently, invisibly.
Now, Ghost Recon came out recently on the Xbox,
Right.
and they did a lot of great upgrades.
And it was Xbox Live compatible, which is the big deal here, really. Ghost Recon is the ultimate tactical warfare simulation that you're going to want to play with lots of friends.
Right.
Rescuing hostages, taking over sort of terrorist camps, and, you know, basically dealing with lots of bad, gritty stuff with your pals on your team. You can't do that on the GameCube. They ripped out all of the multiplayer except for a split-screen 2-player, which it's not enough to really draw you into a squad-based game like this.
The graphics really do look like they were 2 years ago.
It's not the 3D sort of environments
And
that
I
we're
gotta
expecting.
tell you though, the clipping and the animation on the enemies is horrible
It's
to the
shocking.
point of
Yeah.
it's shocking. It's
It
a
is.
great word for it. Because
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, is this game finished yet? You can literally walk up to an enemy as he's lying dead on the ground, and the polygons will shift and change. It's a bug.
You don't want to see that kind of stuff on a console of any kind, and the GameCube has got, you know, some really great looking games. It's
The
got a lot of
GameCube is
horsepower.
better than that. And what happened to the artificial intelligence?
They dumbed it right down. I mean, basically, you've got your threat alerts right down there. You've got all the enemy things on your radar. All you have to do is follow the course, shoot the bad guys.
But
you can't see everything because everything's all aliased in the distance anyways. So you basically zoom in with your sniper scope, and all the guns also have like a medium range zoom. And because it's all blurry, and apparently they can't see you either because they're dumb, you just stand off at a distance and pop all the bad guys off.
When you're getting shot, it actually feels like you're getting shot
Yes.
and you're dying. It's very dramatic. But the problem is that this game is very slow.
Lots of marathon walking.
You have Dolby Pro Logic too, but you lose the whole 5.1 surround thing.
Right.
And because the sounds are compressed, they're not as sharp
Yeah.
and clear.
Yeah.
So they've even taken the sound effects, which were perfect in the other versions,
Yes.
and dumbed those down as well.
It's almost like they were trying to make the cartridge N64 version of this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a problem.
Too many
The only
compromises.
thing that came through correctly was the music, done by Bill Brown.
Beautiful.
Very talented composer. He's
Very
done
cinematic
all
as
the
well.
Tom Clancy stuff. They say Game of the Year on the front of the box, which is true.
Right.
They should also say worst translation of Game of the Year.
Absolutely. 4 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 4 as well, the exact same score.
On the positive side, the music in this game is fantastic. The action sequences in the middle of firefights are very intense. And they've done a pretty good job of taking a very complex game's controls and putting them onto the GameCube controls.
On the negative side, the graphics on this game look completely outdated. The artificial intelligence on both the enemies and your own squad have been extremely dumbed down. And finally, although the action is great, it takes a long time to get there.
Stick around. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Pride FC and a new skateboarding controller for the PlayStation 2.